there, everybody, and welcome to Poppy's house. We are so glad that you dropped by, and I'm gonna make something tonight. The one thing that I wanted to do though was we are now over 250 subscribers in the Pop's Place channel, so you know what that means. I said when I got to 250, I'm giving away one of my big red Dutch ovens, and actually it doesn't have to be red. It's red, white, blue, or green. They have them in multiple colors. To one of my subscribers, I'm going to put out a video later this week. Make sure you check it out so you have the instructions of what you need to do to make sure that your name is in the pot for the Dutch oven. So you definitely want to be part of it. Ooh, even the oven is excited about it. Did you hear it? I heard it. Yes. Tonight, we are making Philly Cheesesteak Stuffed Peppers. And it's one of my favorite things. Honestly, I love Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I've been making them for years. And then about a year and a half ago, I got on this keto kick where I was trying to eat keto, eat clean, get the carbs out of my life. And so I started making the Philly cheesesteak in a stuffed pepper. Really good, really great. We like it better than the sandwich, if you can believe that. It's just really amazing. It's awesome. So I'm going to walk you through it step by step, make sure that you know everything that you need to create Philly cheesesteak stuffed peppers. What an amazing thing it's going to be. Thank you for dropping in, for being part of things, and we're going to show you some ingredients in just a moment. Okay, for Philly cheesesteak stuffed peppers, I start out with 4 medium-sized bell peppers. We'll cut those in half. We're going to pre-bake those on 350 for about 30 minutes to soften them up. Then we will fill them with our topping from the stove, put them back in the oven for a wonderful, wonderful treat. In the Philly cheesesteak, I actually go with a top sirloin steak because it's just really the best flavor. I slice it against the grain, just really thin, and it makes for a great Philly cheesesteak. It's a little pricey. You can go with a cheaper cut of meat, but I figure once in a while it doesn't hurt to splurge. So then we have 16 ounces of regular white mushrooms. I've got an onion, a good sized onion over there that we'll chop up, and that will go in the mix. Now, let me just go ahead and tell you while we're in this, I am not from Philly. People from Philly are probably going to go crazy on me because of the way I make Philly cheesesteak, and honestly, that's okay. You be you, boo-boo, but I create it based upon what I've eaten and what I like. With that, we're going to go with some minced garlic. I have some beef bouillon, which I have in the paste form. I've got, don't judge me, Maggi pollo, which is just a little bit of chicken bouillon. It adds a richness to the taste. I have Italian seasoning. I've got my salt, pepper, and garlic powder blend. And then right back there, the only thing Wally World had when I went shopping was mozzarella. I usually use a mozzarella provolone blend. I'll look in the fridge and see if I have any provolone, but I don't think I do. It's not really going to matter that much because provolone and mozzarella are both very mild cheeses, but it would be better if we had the provolone mozzarella blend. Anyway, we've got mozzarella back there. So anyway, we'll get started preparing the ingredients, getting them ready to go into the oven. The first thing we'll do is cut our peppers, and then we will prepare for our meat mixture. It's gonna be great. So silly me forgets my microphone whenever I'm recording, but you're gonna start out with your bell peppers, and what I generally do is I cut them in half, long ways, top to bottom. And we'll do that and we'll set these aside. Definitely not super difficult, not really complicated. I'm not going to walk through it with too much detail, but I will tell you basically what we're doing. We're cutting them in half and making them into little boats. We will take the pepper. We will use a smaller knife to kind of extricate that stem, which is a pretty fibrous portion. You definitely don't want to leave that in there because that's not something you would want to eat. Cut that out. And then I'm pretty big on removing all of that membrane, all of the seeds. Kind of off camera there, sorry about that. We'll remove all of that membrane, all of the seeds, and I'll toss those in the sink for you. Dump the seeds. Pull out all the membrane because that just doesn't make for good eating, but basically this is what you want. You want an empty boat to be a receptacle for your meat mixture and for the cheese, and it makes for a pretty easy time going. Not too bad. We'll do this for all of the peppers, and then we'll set them up in their baking dish. We'll bake them for 30 minutes at 350 so that they're nice and soft and ready for the next step. Alright, so I sprayed my baking dish with some nice vegetable oil cooking spray, and we're just going to take the boats, make sure that all the seeds are out, all the membrane is out, and then we will line those up in the baking dish. The point being, you know, that pepper takes a little longer to get done if it's already stuffed, so we'll just put all of these in their baking dish, make sure that all the seeds in the membrane are removed, and then baking them, that pre-bake helps get them a little further along, so that when we add that meat mixture, which is basically already cooked, it'll be all ready to go into the oven and ready to melt that cheese and make it all perfect. So that's kind of the idea behind this. I'm cutting these onions just in discs. And basically the only thing I'm doing with this is I'm going to cut them in quarters, just like this, because I kind of want little strips. That kind of makes it cool. Not a big deal. I will make sure that I get my core out, because it's kind of yucky-roo. I don't like that too much. Get my core. Sounds good. All right, so we've got our onions. Then we will have our mushrooms, which I'll have to wash in a colander over here on the side. Okay, so now this is about 1.5 pounds of sirloin steak. And what I do is I generally cut the really huge chunks of fat off. Now, I've done this in a variety of different ways. I have thrown these big chunks of fat in the cook process because they render as they cook, and then I take them out before we actually serve. So, but basically, let me show you what you're after. You are after just the teeniest little strip of steak, and I'm gonna try to show you, if I can show you just a few times. You gotta have a good sharp knife, but you can kind of see just how thin that steak is. Just really, I mean, probably an eighth of an inch to 1/4 of an inch thick. Not very thick at all. The thinner it is, the better it is, and it cooks really fast. The steak is like one of the last elements to go into this. I will cook the veg first, and then we will throw the steak in and throw our seasonings in, and then it will be ready to dress our stuffed peppers. Some of the fat you're going to leave in there. There is some marbling in that meat you're going to leave, of course. Don't try to get all the fat out. If you're an anti-fat person, just get a cut of meat with zero marbling, but be aware, you're not going to have as tender a cut as you would have had you used one with a little bit of fat in it. So sirloin is a really great cut. We're just going to cut these just as thin as we can. It takes a few minutes, but not very long. If you're accustomed to cutting meat, not that big a deal. And again, the product you want is just these tiny little slivers. Nothing much, okay? That's what we're after. So I'll cut this up, and then we'll come back when it's time to start cooking the meat. Okay, so just a reminder, this is about 1.5 pounds of beef. You're going to need that much for 8 stuffed peppers. And, you know, if you saw the price, I paid about $13 for this at Wally World. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. At your mainline grocery stores, you'll pay even more for it. Sometimes, if you can get sirloin steak on sale, that's the way to do it. But I will tell you this, when I make these, they don't go to waste. This meat mixture will stay in these stuffed peppers. We'll have this for dinner tonight, the 3 of us. I'll have it for lunch tomorrow, as will 2 people that live here with me. It will be 2 meals apiece for us. If you're making this for Philly cheesesteaks, you can make this mixture and freeze it after you make it. Like, make your own Philly cheesesteak sandwich and then, you know, freeze the remainder of it. It goes right into the freezer, does just fine. Thaw it out, warm it on the stove, throw it in a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, because this mixture will work in either toasted bread with cheese or, you know, your stuffed peppers, or however you want to do it. I've had people do this on baked potatoes before, and that really sounded good to me, to be honest with you, if you really wanted to carb it up. As a matter of fact, I'm doing mashed potatoes tonight. So, but anyway, we're going to cut this up, leave just a little of that marbling in there, not enough that the Fat Patrol in my house will get their alarm sounded. But in a moment, we'll come back and we'll start putting this all together. All right, kids, we've got our nonstick skillet, and I am adding my onions and mushrooms to it. You take your mushrooms and your onions and you're going to cook them down, and these vegetables have a water in them, and they will begin to sound a little different whenever all the water is cooked out and they are cooked down, and that is what we want. I am known to put a little bit of Worcestershire in this if I want a little beefier flavor. Just depends on what I'm doing. But anyway, we'll get these frying, and then we'll get ready to add our seasonings. Your family will love you for this one. You think I'm kidding, I am not. You don't want the bell peppers? Put it on hoagie rolls. Do whatever you want, but it is so good. Now for the record, kids, sometimes when Poppy is feeling naughty, he'll put a few tablespoons of butter in this, because what isn't better with a little bit of butter? So just be aware, I stuck it in there, baby, and we're cooking this down. Yes. I don't know if you can hear the sound of this frying, but the vegetables are giving up their moisture at this point. And when that fry becomes loud again, that is when the moisture has cooked out of the vegetables, and they are now just sauteing in oil. So this is what we're after. We want the mushrooms and the onions to release their oil, and I kind of stir this constantly until that happens, because basically we want a good end product. We want something that's going to be really delicious. I'm not adding any seasoning at this point. I will give you the heads up. I mentioned salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I am not going to go crazy with that because the bouillon that I'm going to use has salt in it. We don't want to oversalt this. I'm going to temper that down quite a bit. Probably use more black pepper, and I might use fresh ground black pepper and more garlic powder than salt, because really the bouillon will have enough salt in it that you don't really need to add any more. I'll just kind of go easy on everything, and we'll take it one step at a time. But you can see this, I don't know if you can see it, how it has released a lot of juice just in this cook process. So all right, when it's ready for the next step, which is adding the meat and the seasonings, we will be right back and show you. All right, so as I mentioned, whenever that moisture comes out, the fry turns up to angry again. It's basically oil and the vegetables left. And that's when we take our next step. So we're already just about there. You can kind of hear how that's gotten a little more angry. So now I'm going to take just a few cloves of minced garlic that I have in the jar. Yes, I'm a cheater, monkey eater. And that's okay. Oh my God, that smells so good. You're going to think, oh, there's not enough moisture, it's not going to work. When I add the beef will start to release some of its moisture, and it will become stinking amazing. So now we have our beautiful sliced beef from that sirloin steak, about 1.25 pounds after I cut all the fat out of it. And I'm just going to begin that process of lightly cooking that meat, and it does not take a long time, y'all. I'm not kidding you. Look at it, y'all. So sexy. All right, we're gonna go with some beef bouillon, and I'm throwing it right in the drink. Gonna mix it in, and with the juices that are there, it will be a lovely addition. Oh, I can't even tell you. I don't know if you can see it, but the beef is releasing its juices, and we're basically, you don't have to cook this like a crazy person. You just have to sear the outside. A little bit of pink in the meat is not so bad. I kind of like it. I am going to go with, I haven't even opened this. Little bit of Maggi Pollo. You're thinking chicken bouillon? Chicken bouillon doesn't even make sense in a beef dish. Listen, honey, trust me, you're not going to taste chicken. It's just going to add a little bit of depth to the flavor, and I don't go crazy with it. So I just add a little bit in there. Don't be afraid to season your stuff up. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Now, for all of those native Pennsylvanians who are cussing me out in the back of their brain, you can do this the way you want to. I know people from PA and from Philly, and their response is, we do our Philly cheesesteak with Cheese Whiz. We do ours with American cheese. Y'all, you be you, boo-boo. You do you. You be happy. Don't let anybody worry about it. Now I'm adding about 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Maybe a little more, because I like it. Maybe 2 teaspoons. We're going to stir that in. Let it do its thing. Oh, I wish I could tell you how good this smells, and the last thing I'm putting is my garlic powder, pepper, and salt. And again, I'm not doing very much, less than 1 teaspoon, because we got enough salt. If I want to come back with some more garlic, I will reach right up here in my cabinet, pull out a little more garlic powder. Looks good. I've got some black pepper right there in my pantry. Pull out just a little of that. And I should do fresh ground black pepper. It's always better. I like it better, but you know what? Homegirl don't even care. So now I am turning this off. because in my brain, this is kind of done. This is the filling, and it is so abundantly sexy. So I am literally gonna just take a little taste. Oh yeah. We are gonna add a dash of Worcestershire, not too much, just enough to make it sexy. Oh yeah. Again, you don't want it too salty, you don't want to go crazy with anything. We have got this mixture down. I'm just tasting the gravy just to see how I like it. Oh yeah. That's what Daddy is talking about. Okay, so when we come back, we will fill our peppers and we'll be ready to put it in the oven, so don't go away. All right, so our peppers are out of the oven. They're nice and tender. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with each one of these and just put a nice big glomp of beautiful cheese right in the bottom. Sexy. Again, whatever kind of cheese you want. You want American cheese? Use American cheese. You want cheddar? Use cheddar. You want Cheese Whiz? Use Cheese Whiz. Use Velveeta. Use Gouda. Use Swiss. Use blue cheese. I don't care. What makes you happy? Do that. Figure out what makes you happy and do it. That's what I'm saying. All right, now we're going to come along with our sexy meat filling, and you're going to drop some of this. Just be prepared. My baking dish is hot, so I'm not reaching my fingers in there, and I'm going to just try to portion this out. I'm going to try to get the meat at least into the peppers. If you drop an onion or a mushroom, not such a grand deal. I'm kind of packing it in there. Pack it up high. You're going to find out you got plenty, and I do mean plenty, of this meat mixture to go into 8 peppers. Have enough left over that you can do you a sandwich tomorrow if you want to. So, love it, love it. Got to love it. And whatever's really left over for me, what I mostly do is I will take that meat mixture and just kind of dump it over the top. If it's in the pan, it's in the pan. Don't much matter to me. I will try to get the meat pieces up because I like those up. You'll notice this is everywhere, y'all. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to have to get my tongs and try to pick some of this up. But basically, this is what you want to do. This meat mixture will melt that cheese in the bottom real nice. Pile it on thick. Pile it on tall. Gonna be sexy. You ready? We about to do it. It don't much matter. Because these things are going to release juice. There's going to be cheese. It's going to be stupid how good this is. I'm not kidding you when I say this. So, this is completely up to you. Now for me, all this delicious juicy juice, I'm in there dumping it on what's left. I do not care. And you don't ever hear my people complain about it. So, maybe I should try to get up some of them Klingons first. I don't know. Get in here a little bit, at least the meat, because I kind of want it to be under the cheesiness, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, it's sexy, y'all. I'm not kidding you. This, and it smells divine. All right, some more cheesiness right on the top. Y'all seeing this, right? We're gonna throw it in the oven for about another half hour, just to let the peppers get good and done. Let these the cheeses melt. Let all these juices mix together. It will be a cacophony of beauty and grace and taste that is next to none you've ever had. So, Philly Cheesesteak Stuffed Peppers. Don't worry about what's in the pan, because you can scoop it out with a spoon and eat it by the mouthful. So, these are going in the oven. Half an hour. We will come back and take a look. I got potatoes cooked, already on the side. We'll throw this out because I don't want countertop cheese in my recipe, but we'll throw this in the oven. Oh, and there's a mushroom. Look, it did a dive bomb. I know my stove is kind of gross. I need to get me some of that Barkeep's Friend so I can clean my stove better, but hadn't had no time. So, all right. Oh, I ate that mushroom and it was so good. So these are going in the oven. We'll be back in a half hour and I'll show you the end result. It's delightful. Okay, kids. I may have let them get a little done, but I want you to look at the beauty that is the Philly Cheesesteak Stuffed Pepper. Just wow. Okay, we got the delightful beauty that is the Philly Cheesesteak Stuffed Pepper. Fabulous. I got dogs going crazy because they just went for a walk. But y'all don't worry about it. Oh my goodness. So we're gonna get a little bit of this beef, a little bit of mushroom, a little bit of pepper. Y'all, this is so amazing. So good. Super easy. Y'all can sit here and watch me eat if you want to. No, it's okay. If you liked the video, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Let folks know about it, share the link, and don't forget, watch for a video in the next few days about the pot. You're gonna get to put your name in the hat. Basically, it's for anybody that's a subscriber of the Pop Place YouTube channel. And we're gonna be giving away a beautiful cast iron ceramic coated Dutch oven. You're gonna love it. So make sure you stay tuned. Information to follow. Look forward to talking to you soon. And hey, thank you for dropping in. A lot of fun. I'm gonna go eat this before it gets cold because I need it right now in my belly. You know what I mean? Okay, we will talk to you soon. Bye.